Hello, everyone. I'm a chair of the International Committee Beyond 5G Promotion Consortium, and I'm asked to give you an update, the latest status update of Beyond 5G R&D in Japan. This is my introduction, so I can safely skip that one. And so in Japan, we have identified 7 KPIs for technologies for Beyond 5G, 6G. So I don't have to repeat everything, but we have extension to 5G, ultra high capacity, low latency, and massive connectivity, plus ultra reliability, autonomy, scalability, and low power consumption. On top of the 5G features, we'd like to enable additional 4 features on your right. And this is the direction that we identified in 2018 to 2019. So it's like almost 5 years ago. And then recently we have identified 10 challenges. I don't read out everything, but you can see that there are lots of topics in common that you might think that also these are the challenges for the other countries as well. Namely, challenge 1, challenge 2, all-photonic network, open network technology. And also we recently pay attention to this MTN HAPS satellite network technologies. And other things also are the topics of the challenges for development. But we think that these 3 challenges are very important challenges. So we like to focus on these things. And beyond 5G policy recent updates in Japan, I'd like to briefly mention our funding situation. So in spring 2021, so the ministry has acquired about 188 million euros. This was granted to research organizations in Japan, private companies and universities. And after that, recently in spring of 2023, the additional fund is provided, so about 508 million euros, which is a big amount of money. And then in total, we have already about 70 projects implemented to attack these challenges that we identified. And at the G7 Digital and Tech Ministers meeting in Takasaki, Gunma, so this was held in April last year. And there we have stressed the importance of this beyond 5G and 6G technologies, and especially secure and resilient digital infrastructure aspect. And we have endorsed the G7 vision of the future network in the beyond 5G and 6G era. So you can read the report of this G7 and what we think that is important for beyond 5G and 6G. And especially, I'd like to highlight from the government perspective. So we think that these 4 items are very important, and end-to-end high capacity, ultra low latency, and energy efficiency and environmental impacts, and a multi-layered network, and frequency efficiency. All these things are reflected in our strategy, and we think that we have to find solutions for these 4 challenges. And recently, Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication, which is in charge of the telecommunication, so they published this vision of beyond 5G network architecture. We have network infrastructure, especially all optical and also a wireless integration. And we have MTN, fixed core network with a mobile core network and a space network all together integrated in a multi-network orchestrator. So, and Open RAN is a big item in here. Open RAN-based architecture is explored in this architecture space. And we have much international cooperation. And so far, we have signed up for the 4 MoUs with the 4 organizations, mostly European organization and also United States. And Finland is especially 6G flagship. So we think that Finland moved very fast at an early stage. So we think that we should have MoUs with them. So the purpose of this MoU, so we're not limited to these 4 MoUs, but our purpose is to utilize the framework of the MoU to promote specific collaboration with like-minded countries. So if you can identify the shared vision, so then we are willing to make an MOU. And now these days we are discussing how to proceed beyond MOU, some concrete steps forward. So we have discussing this R&D, international collaboration, R&D. For example, EU-Japan call with European countries. So I think it's now announced that we can get the funding for the EU-Japan international collaboration project. And also recently, I think many of you have already been aware of this ITR new recommendation on IMT 2030 framework. And we have observed that lots of things are perfectly aligned with the 7 KPIs that we have identified 5 years ago. And a peak data rate, user experience data rate, and spectrum efficiency, area traffic capacity, all of these KPIs are now shared in this recommendation ITR. And we think that now it's time to prepare for standardization. And in December last year, the 3GP announced that we should initiate the standardization activity for 6G technology. So now we have to work on standardization. And we have closely working with all these, digital standard organization and forum standard the organizations. And we are closely checking all these standardization bodies so that we can develop an international standard with them. And recently, so this is a plan, but a new fund for additional activities, including support for standardization, pre-standardization and standardization activities from the government. So plan additional 119 million euros for this will be provided in spring this year. And also I'd like to share that the February 1st and February 2nd this year, we held this Beyond5G International Conference 2024 in Tokyo. And we have only 2 days for this event. And this is the 3rd event in series. And so on day 1, I'd like to share that, a lot of speeches from around the world. And especially, I would like to mark on the 2nd day. So we have a report from Morio Torishima. He is chair of the Scalability Working Group in International Committee that I'm chairing. And Iwao Hosako, Dr. Iwao Hosako is giving latest update of the terahertz and high frequency band working group. So International Committee is now focusing on the technology development, which requires close international coordination. For example, MTN, satellite communication, so not a single country can benefit from that. So I think we should coordinate the effort, especially standardization. And also frequency usage is also an important topic. So that's why we are focusing on these 2 working groups within International Committee. And these folks from NICT are chairing under our International Committee. And also, I think Mr. Takehiro Takamura, I think everybody knows him. So he is the Chief Standardization Officer at NTT Docomo. He has reported the latest white paper activity within the Beyond5G Promotion Consortium. So today, I'd like to briefly introduce this. And if you are interested in other program, by the way, I moderated the panel with Mati from 6G Flagship and Manu from Power and Dr. Lee from Korea. So we have discussed what should be the items for standardization in this panel. We didn't have a chance to invite Miko this time, but I invited the Hexa-X project presentations in a series of International Committee workshop series. And if you are interested, I can share more information in some other time, but due to the time constraint, I just quickly go over what we presented. So the Scalability Working Group, chaired by Torishima-san, is so to share the landscape of the NTN activity. And we have activities within this working group, first recruiting members, but we are trying to identify issues, and now we are trying to investigate how to resolve these challenges and proposal for recommendation and all that. And as you can see from this, the coordinator is recruited from Rakuten, BRV, SoftBank, and Huawei, Ericsson, and Space Compass. That is a new company that NTT Docomo and Sky Perfect TV, the JSAT, and also KDDI joining this effort. Each group has the very extended content. So maybe some other time, maybe I can invite the chair of this working group to share the information. But we are trying to identify the strong partners to work with. And this is the big picture of the MTN landscape and the satellite broadband, satellite IoT, and HAPS. So we think that IoT could be a very compelling use case for MTN. Of course, broadband service like provided by Starlink is now popular throughout Japan. And for example, in my lab, my students are using Starlink satellite communication for their experiments. And briefly, millimeter wave and terahertz. So if you look back on WRC 23 meeting, so there would be regarding millimeter wave and terahertz frequency, we decided on within WRC 23 activities. And now, so in Japan, we have formed this terahertz system consortium to discuss the use cases of the terahertz and also front haul, back haul, and small cell access link requirements. So all these activities are about a technology that needs international coordination. So we think that we can discuss this within the working group, and would like to hear your opinion probably from Hexa-X project as well. So finally, last point. So this is the white paper that we published from the Beyond5G Promotion Consortium, and Mr. Takehiro Nakamura has already gave a presentation many times. But recently, version 3 is prepared to capture APG 23.6 and WRC 23 for future IMT spectrum, namely a centimeter wave like 7 GHz to 15 GHz. And also there is new topics about cell-free distributed MIMO and high frequency network architecture, reflector, intelligent reflector, AI ML integration, sensing, joint sensing, and communication integration, and also energy efficiency and MTN. All these new topics will become a supplement volume for a new white paper. Okay, maybe I spoke too fast, but this is my final slide. In Japan, we have this Beyond5G proportion strategy established in June 2020. And then we had several activities, including the funding and also council discussion and also publishing the white papers. But now we are planning the next strategy towards the summer this year. So you would expect a new strategy coming out from Japan based on experience that we had in the past 3+ years. Okay, so this is the brief update from Japan. Thank you, Nico, for the opportunity to speak on updates of the Japan activities.